In 2025, you can run full-sized PC games on something that fits in a sling bag, tweak every little setting, dock it to a monitor, then flop back on the couch and keep going exactly where you left off. And in this video, we're looking at the 5 best options available now and discussing their strengths and weaknesses. As always, the links to the best deals are in the description and on our website. And lastly, if you want help reducing your screen time, check out Screen Talks on the iOS App Store. It's helped me to cut my average daily time by almost 2 hours. Let's start with the one that tries very hard to be your portable gaming laptop replacement, the Asus ROG Ally X. The Ally X is basically Asus saying, all right, we got the feedback. They took the original Ally, fixed the pain points, and turned it into one of the most balanced Windows handhelds you can buy. It looks similar at first glance, but the new body is thicker and better sculpted, which makes it noticeably more comfortable during long sessions. The 7-inch full high-definition display is still here, now backed by a 120Hz refresh rate and FreeSync, so everything looks clean and smooth without wasting power on extra resolution. Inside is where the real jump happens. The AMD Ryzen Z2 chip has enough muscle for modern games, and it is paired with 16GB of memory and up to a 2TB solid-state drive. In real-world use, that means you can run demanding games at sensible settings and keep a healthy library installed without constantly shuffling files around. The biggest upgrade, though, is the battery. Asus nearly doubled the capacity, and it makes a real difference. With lighter games, you can finally settle into a proper handheld session. With heavier titles, you still drain power quickly, but not with the old watching the battery tick down anxiety. Day-to-day, the Ally X feels like a mini gaming laptop with built-in controls. You get full Windows, so every launcher and modding tool is available. Armoury Crate SE helps tame Windows a bit by organizing performance settings and button mapping, though it is not flawless. You do need to accept the Windows quirks, pop-ups, updates, and occasional scaling oddities. If you want a console-like experience, this will feel a little fussy. But if you want power, flexibility, and the option to dock it and treat it like a tiny PC, the Ally X is a great choice. Now let's take a look at one we all know, the Steam Deck OLED, which takes a very different approach with simplicity and a stunning display. While some competitors have caught up in hardware since the Steam Deck blazed a trail in handheld power, it still stands out as a handheld that simply works. No Windows quirks, no driver drama, no constant tweaking, and right away it feels clean and purposeful. The new 7.4-inch OLED screen is a major leap forward, with HDR, richer colors, deeper contrast, and a refresh rate up to 90 Hz. It is brighter, smoother, and more efficient than the old LCD, which helps the upgraded 50-watt-hour battery last noticeably longer in real use. Performance-wise, Valve kept the familiar AMD APU. It is not chasing high-end laptop power, but paired with 16GB of memory and fast solid-state storage, it is more than enough for the vast majority of indie titles, older games, and anything optimized for handheld play. The magic, though, is the software. SteamOS feels like it was built specifically for this form factor, launching games, adjusting settings, managing your library. Everything feels console simple. No pop-ups, no desktop clutter, just a focused handheld experience with surprisingly polished ergonomics and controls. There are limits. It is not the absolute best choice available for pushing AAA games at high settings, and long sessions and demanding titles will still chew through battery. But for everyday portable gaming, the balance is excellent. If you want a handheld that prioritizes ease of use, a gorgeous screen, solid battery life, and a massive library with little maintenance, the Steam Deck OLED is an easy recommendation. It is not about brute force power, or it is about a smooth, reliable pick-up-and-play experience. When you pick up the Legion Go S, it immediately feels more refined than many early handheld PC hybrids. The design is slim, comfortable, and clearly aimed at everyday use rather than constant tinkering. Many reviewers even call it one of the most ergonomic handhelds available. Inside, it runs an AMD Ryzen Z2 processor, or in higher-end versions, the Ryzen Z1 Extreme. Pair that with up to 32GB of fast LPDDR5X memory, a 1TB solid-state drive, and an 8-inch IPS display at a smooth 120Hz, and you get a device that feels modern and responsive. Visuals are crisp, motion is clean, and overall performance sits comfortably in the upper tier of handheld PCs. Where the Go S really separates itself is with its SteamOS option. Skip Windows and the device suddenly feels much more polished. Fast boot ups, a clean interface, and a streamlined console-like experience. In benchmark after benchmark, the SteamOS version often runs games better than the Windows version, with higher frame rates, fewer stutters, and almost instant load times thanks to the speedy SSD. it is not flawless. The Windows model still feels a bit clunky on a handheld, with UI scaling issues and the usual desktop quirks. Battery life is also middle of the road, especially during heavy play, and the fans can get loud and demanding titles. So who should choose the Legion Go S? It is ideal for someone who wants a real middle ground, more power and flexibility than a simple console handheld, but a cleaner, more portable experience than a full laptop. If you want sharp visuals, smooth performance, and a comfortable form factor, and you are willing to lean into SteamOS or tolerate some Windows oddities, the Go S lands squarely in the sweet spot of modern handheld gaming. Now we also have to look at the Legion Go. When you pick up the Legion Go, the first thing you notice is its size. This is not the slimmer, more ergonomic Go S. The original Go is big, bold, and built around its star feature, an 8.8-inch QHD touchscreen running at 144 Hz. That alone sets it apart. Games look incredibly sharp and fluid, and the whole experience feels closer to a small console or tablet than a traditional handheld. Inside, you get full Windows 11 and the option for the more powerful Ryzen Z1 Extreme chip, along with 16 GB of fast memory and up to a 1 TB solid-state drive. Compared to the Go S, which leans into efficiency and comfort, the Legion Go leans into flexibility. Any launcher, any mod, any emulator, you have the freedom of a full PC in your hands. It also has one trick the Go S does not: detachable TrueStrike controllers and a built-in kickstand. You can use it handheld style or break it apart and play like a miniature Switch, or dock it and treat it like a tiny desktop PC. The Go S is all about refined handheld use. The Legion Go is about versatility and playstyle options. Of course, the trade-offs are obvious. That huge high-resolution screen and full Windows environment drain its 49 watt-hour battery quickly. Under heavy load, 1 to 2 hours is common. It is also much heavier than the Go S, making it less portable and less comfortable for long handheld sessions. The Go S fits into your hands. The Legion Go feels more like holding a tablet with controllers attached. So who should pick this over the Go S? Choose the Legion Go if you want the biggest, most immersive display, the freedom of full windows, and the ability to use detachable controllers or dock it like a tiny desktop. It is for the gamer who wants options above all else. Choose the Go S if you want something lighter, more comfortable, more efficient, and more polished in handheld form. Now let us wrap up with the final handheld in the lineup, the MSI Claw A1M. At first glance, the Claw A1M feels like it is ready to compete. It is one of the few handheld gaming PCs built on Intel hardware instead of AMD, using Intel Core Ultra processors with ARC graphics, backed by 16 GB of LPDDR5 memory and a solid-state drive up to 1 TB. The 7-inch full high-definition touchscreen at 120 Hz looks good on paper and places it squarely among other compact handhelds. Ergonomics are one of its strengths. The grips feel natural, the Hall effect analog sticks are smooth and accurate, and the speakers are surprisingly decent for a handheld. Add in full Windows 11 and a Thunderbolt 4 USB-C port, something even premium rivals lack, and you get plenty of flexibility for docks, peripherals, and even external GPUs. But this is where the caveat starts. Reviews consistently point out that real-world performance lags behind AMD-powered handhelds. Despite the promising specs, Intel Arc graphics coupled with thermal limits and Windows overhead often lead to inconsistent frame rates in modern games. Battery life is another weak point. The 53 watt-hour pack drains fast under load, and endurance is usually below what competitors manage. The software layer does not help either. MSI's Center M interface feels clunky, and switching between desktop and controller modes can be awkward. So who is the Claw A1M really for? It is for the curious enthusiast, someone who likes the idea of Intel hardware in a handheld, wants Thunderbolt support, or plans to use it docked more often than not. If you value compatibility, modding, and expansion over raw handheld performance, it might appeal to you. But if what you want is smooth gameplay, strong battery life, and a polished handheld experience, the more mature AMD-based devices we covered earlier are the safer bet. If you enjoyed the breakdown and want more honest, straightforward tech reviews, be sure to like the video and subscribe.